It's getting ultra competitive applying to college. It's always been competitive, but it's been ultra competitive applying to these schools. When I first started working with families, one of my mentors actually came to me and he said, my son is going to apply to some incredibly competitive colleges and I can't think of anybody else I would like to work with him than you. And I was shocked and honored and I just dove in and I loved it. This kid, he applied to some of the most competitive schools on the planet. It was grueling doing the applications because it was very late in the game for him to be applying. And we took a couple of very non-traditional approaches and his kid got into his first choice. And after that, my mentee talked to a couple of his friends and they came and they said, can you help our kids? They'd like to go to UCLA, which for those of you who may not be familiar with the UC system, it's ultra competitive. It's the Ivies of California, an incredibly complex and difficult series of schools to get into. And it was one brother and one sister. They both got in. This pulls together everything I love about my life's work. In an industry that was changing really rapidly. It was going from competitive to ultra competitive. I love it more every day. I finished my sessions with my mentees and I'll walk out of my office and into the living room and my beautiful wife Kelly will say, Dan, who's paying who? Like who's having more fun? Your mentees or you? Who's getting more out of it? And the truth is, I don't really know. But I think that we're memory-making creatures. I think that we are here on this planet to create wonderful memories and experiences for ourselves and for other people. Because I think we're all works in progress, but particularly when it comes to teens and the neuroplasticity of the teenage brain, they're evolving at sort of like light speed. There's like a Doppler shift as their brains like go forward, and so it's a fascinating thing to see. So I'm empowering them to do this. If I can sort of fold space by helping them get ahead, give them an unfair advantage based on the work that I've done over time, with them participating in a way that is genuine for them, but making connections that they hadn't seen in themselves before. As I was building the program, based on the input that I mentees, I was bringing in three things that were core and central to my life. The art of entrepreneurship, the art of communication, the art of mentorship. Entrepreneurship, which I love and I've always loved because it just fascinates me. Entrepreneurship in and of itself has got a billion different flavors. Just like confidence. You know, kids develop confidence along the way, but there's different kinds of confidence. And entrepreneurship could be anything from taking an idea like, I've always loved soccer, but thought maybe I could turn this into a business. Or I've always loved making muffins, but that seems silly. How could I turn that into a business? That could be a multi-million-dollar business, really just starting that out of your kitchen. And I know that sounds crazy. No, it's really, really possible. It's all about leveraging ideas. Entrepreneurship, becoming a master communicator. I know I'm going to butcher Warren Buffett's line on this one, but if you can learn to communicate on paper and in person and communicate well, you can add 2 more zeros to your back end, sometimes 3. And no truer words ever spoken. And communication for me and for the way that I bring that into my program is not just in terms of written or spoken, it's learning to communicate with yourself. That's kind of the therapist that won't die in me. Sounds like the title of a terrible, terrible horror movie. Learning the art of reading the room, emotional intelligence, which is really, among other things, being able to see the world through other people's eyes and interpret that, active listening, all of those things that go into the art of communication, persuasion, negotiation, bringing that into what it is that I do with my mentees. And the third part is mentorship. I'm obviously mentoring my mentees, but as I'm doing that, I'm also teaching them how to mentor other people. So I'm unpacking all 3 of these for my mentees in a way that's applicable and genuine for them for a couple of reasons. First of all, these are incredibly monetizable skills. They're also kind of AI proof. No, they are AI proof. AI is here to stay, but AI is only as good as the input that you give it. Any kind of interaction on any meaningful level is ultimately about the transfer of emotion. Being able to integrate and use these skills is really important out there in the real world. Okay. The other thing too is that these skills aren't taught at the high school level, and they're not taught at the college level. And even if you go to a Babson or a Wharton undergrad, places where, say, business is taught, you're not going to get these until you're in your sophomore year. I'm Dan Ulin, founder and CEO of Elite Student Coach. Please contact me if I can be of service or if you'd like to talk. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you on the other side.